Welcome to the Microsoft Power Platform User Group. I don't know why I have to look at the slide. You'd think that would be relatively easy. This is our first meeting for
2026.
2026. So let's give it.
Auspicious.
There we go. Today we're going to talk about, that should have been the first slide.
Well,
Did you move stuff around?
I just moved that one
Okay.
step out.
So today we're going to have Danny. Danny's in the back. Raise your hand, Danny. He's gonna talk about agentic journeys, the intro to Copilot Studio. So that should be fun. We're gonna do welcomes, and then we will do, and then we'll go back to this.
Okay.
We're gonna do welcomes, latest news, and then Danny's gonna talk about Copilot Studio, and then we will end with any questions. And if there's
Literally anything.
and
When we
if
say
there's
anything,
any
we
food
mean
left
anything.
over, you can have some food, but you can get some while we're speaking. So I'm Craig Janke. I am a Microsoft person. AI for Business Solutions is my area of expertise, sort of. It used to be modern work, but then Microsoft rebranded what we do. So I'm what we call a technical architect. I work out of this space, and I talk to customers pretty much on a daily basis. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we will have sessions where I'll talk to companies' leadership. They'll come in and we do a lot of discussion on strategy and where they want their organization to go and how AI can help them with that. So a lot of times, like yesterday, I had in Riddle's C-suite, and they were just like, we know we need to be doing AI. We're using it in parts of our organization. Where else can we start using it? And so then we had that kind of discussion. That's usually like a very preliminary discussion we will have with an organization. Then typically we'll do things like we call business envisioning or solution envisioning, where business envisioning, we're just kind of showing them the art of the possible. The solution envisioning is they've already got like some use cases they want to discuss. Typically it's like 8 to 10. They'll come in with some of them, go, what can we do here? We will narrow that down to 3 or 4 that makes sense to pursue based on, is it technically feasible? Does it provide you the biggest bang for your buck? Do your users want it? You know, what's going on in your business? All of those kind of things. For all of those discussions, we don't care. I don't care how we solve that solution. I just want to know what the problem is and what the business process is, and then look for opportunities to maybe automate or use technology to help out with those solutions. From there, we go to an architectural design session, and that's where we might go, hey, this would be good for Power Automate. This would be good for maybe some third-party tool if we don't fit in our stack, but we're getting better, so usually everything fits in our stack. This might be Azure. This might be Power Platform. This might be whatever, SharePoint Teams, anything like that. So why I am different, or my group is a little bit different from most people at Microsoft. It's very Microsoft, but if you meet a lot of our people, they're salespeople, and they will say, hey, this is Power Platform. So whatever your business problem is, Power Platform is how you solve it. And then you'll talk to the Azure team, and they're like, oh yeah, I get that the Power Platform person told you that, but really we should be doing this in AI, or we should be doing this in Azure Foundry, that kind of thing. And then you'll talk to the Dynamics person, they're like, no, Dynamics has a solution problem. So, we're kind of agnostic in what we care. I just want you to solve your problem and start using things. That's me. I do more with the M365 Copilot agents, all that kind of stuff. I come from SharePoint Teams, so I started using the Power Platform mostly because I was getting bored with SharePoint and Teams. But I come from it as when SharePoint Designer got deprecated, I had to help Ford migrate 1,700 workflows into Power Automate, and then we were doing the same thing with InfoPath to Power Platform. So I come in from that kind of perspective. There's really 2 entries. There's a lot of people come in from the Dynamics and the model-driven app perspective. If you don't know what that means, probably why you're here, so we can talk about that. That being said, me and Ralph started this user group, this going back to almost 2017,
That's
right?
right.
It's almost 9 years ago. So,
Yep.
be honest with you, we have haphazardly done this. We
Hey,
sometimes,
it's a work of love.
yeah, we do it as our
don't
spare
get paid for it.
time. We would like to have it monthly, regular cadence, but we have fallen short on that. So that's our goal for 2026 is to get back into a monthly cadence where we have in-person meetings. Be honest with you, COVID kind of shot us in the foot, 2019.
It was very interesting because we sort of started doing the Teams hybrid meetings before.
Yeah, we've been
Long
always
before
doing
COVID.
ours with hybrid.
As soon as 2017, as soon as we could like.
Our
do-
first meeting was hybrid.
Exactly. And it was then it became a thing to do Teams. I think it was like at COVID,
Yeah.
there was a group of people that said, hey, we're going to have a whole conference, just like a big Power Platform conference, or not, a Microsoft conference, I should say, like a SharePoint Saturday, but we're going to do it in 7 time zones around the world for 40 hours straight. We have all the speakers that have been itching to speak because they're not allowed to go anywhere and speak. Oh, it was a disaster and an amazing thing. And it was done with a dev tenant, as in only 250 people maximum allowed in a room, and or things like that. They managed to make this work. And again, they were getting feedback from folks like us. We were volunteers in that particular effort. We're like, that's very ambitious. And we warned them, it's like, we tried this hybrid and it was hard for small group. You're going to do it for thousands? Then Microsoft looked at that, turned out like, oh, we can do that? Suddenly, maybe no surprise, because of COVID, probably Teams went from Slack to Teams. All of a sudden, who? Slack? Who were they?
So that's the other thing. I've been doing SharePoint Saturday, so that's
Yes.
1 day conference, SharePoint user groups. It's
We had the last SharePoint Saturday just before COVID hit.
But we did our first one in 2013. So I've been doing SharePoint user groups that morphed into this since 2011.
That's right.
Me and Ralph have always been active, going back probably in 2007 in user groups with the .NET user groups. And I was in Rio, so we just love doing stuff with the community. It's a great way to network. It's a great way to meet people. It's a great way to, if you've got problems, more people you know, it's a lot easier to get stuff solved. That's me. You go,
Yeah.
Ralph.
Okay, great. So Ralph Rivas, National Solutions Architect, Offer Leader at Sogeti. We are Sogeti, which is part of Capgemini, pretty major Microsoft partner. Microsoft is both our biggest vendor and our biggest client at the same time, and our biggest partner. Like, we're one of their biggest on the same area, size wise at least. But most importantly, it's like a direct connection at the higher levels, which is fantastic. My focus is in the cloud practice. In the cloud is that bitty thing making money called M365. And in their Power Platform and all the stuff that we're doing over here, because I'm a lazy coder and the less code, the better. And now I'm finding out that I'm actually creating more code than ever, but at least the AI is doing it. Shh, don't tell anybody. But that's where I come from. But I'll show you a slide later of some of the offerings that we have a little bit. One of the things that we learned last year is how to make Sogeti pay for the food. And you're going to be the first people to, how do we say it, benefit from that lesson. Because before it was like fighting. It's like, come on, pay for this small user group. And all of a sudden they're like, you have a user group we can pay for? Yes. I can't tell you the secret of how that happened, but let's just say Sogeti is sponsoring our food today. So thank you very much. Thank you. When we see it though, of course, when we see the food, then we'll thank them. We'll see how that comes in. But otherwise, hey, shall we continue over here, or we have to talk to Danny?
Yeah.
Danny can introduce himself and say hello.
Hey guys, you want me to come up there? Yeah.
Oh, okay. What's up? You're trying to
You
fix it
know
up?
what? You should be able to just hook it up.
Pick it up, okay. Hey, my name is Danny. I'm an M365 architect. I work for Cyclotron. We are a Microsoft partner company. We're based in California. So I, in fact, was here, I think it was almost like a year ago for the user group. It was in 2025, same
right.
when you guys were hosting the first sessions, I was here. So it's good to be back here again.
Full circle.
Full circle, yeah. And to also,
Center. So
Oh, yeah, okay.
See ya.
Right over here. Don't worry, we're online.
There you go. Now you're on.
oh wow, hey guys.
There we go.
Yeah, so I was here like a year ago, being part of the user group, just studying new tech and just with a curious mind on. I worked with Craig before at Reply, or another a consulting company of Microsoft. Right now I'm with Cyclotron, so very excited to walk you guys through with Copilot Studios. I in fact was here in the same room with Cyclotron. I think it was like 8 months ago. We had a agent session, like a day like a day workshop for the healthcare industry. So there's a lot of clients in here.
Great.
So yeah, so pretty excited to start here. Has anyone here worked with Copilot Studio before? Show of hands. Studio. Okay, so we've got a couple of them, and some of you guys are new.
The introduction in for the folks that haven't used it, for the folks that know it.
Yeah, so it'll be great. So it's very basic. So if you're looking to really get started, my goal today is just to walk you through the basic fundamentals about how you go about building it and what are the capabilities. So that's my goal to expose. So I have a couple of demos that I've planned for you guys here. So want to go by each component, like what is the knowledge, what's the topic.
All right, you're gonna get a chance.
We're good. We're good.
All right, I'm gonna take a seat. We'll come back.
Yes, sir. So, I got an advice. Illuminati says they're here.
All right.
Or they're on their way. So let's listen up for somebody's gonna contact us
So
somewhere.
if you want to get who's in the room and whatnot.
Yes. So a quick poll of saying who's here and stuff. Let's see, who's in the chat? How many people do we got in the chat over here? 1, 2, 3. There's not that many folks in the chat, so it's okay. We'll take a few minutes over here to introduce folks, if you don't mind. Can I have your name, sir?
Yeah, my name is Lu Dashao.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. SAS, SAS.
Yes, right.
Yeah, for data analysis and data analytics. Yeah, that's
Excellent.
it's related to data science.
There you go.
Same time, yeah, and I'm also interested in this AI,
Yes.
machine learning.
I think you saw us before. You came over.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
your first time here. Very good. All right, let's go in the, on the row.
Hello, everyone. My name is John. I go by JK. Recently ended a contract at Cisco. So it's doing more like research work, prompt engineering work for their internal LLM, which is Circuit.
Oh, here. Yes.
And then, doing like a lot of information retrieval, Power BI. The good news, the market is picking up a little bit. I got like 3 interviews tomorrow.
Oh, we always need good news. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm looking to land soon.
Cross some fingers. Good news is good. Let's go this way and go back.
Yeah, my name is Rakesh. I have 3 years of experience as a cybersecurity analyst. I recently graduated from Illinois Tech.
Congratulations.
Currently, thank you. Currently looking for opportunities, but meanwhile, I'm working on building AI agents. I have just recently worked on RAG agent.
Okay. Speaking of which, speaking of which, let's see. So sorry, let me do the one thing that probably we didn't do, which is over here. Stand by. And, oh, shoot. All right. A good thing Raquel's recording. I just wanted to make sure you just reminded me of something and that we should have been recording from this end, but don't worry, we have a backup. Raquel, your recording is going to be the key. All right. Thank you so much. And again, I was hoping Lou was recording and maybe Copilot will give you an offer. Who knows? All right. Go ahead.
Hi everyone, my name is Lynn. I recently graduated from U Chicago and I'm currently looking for a data science job. I've been
Congrats.
using different AI agents before like ChatGPT and Gemini.
Uh-huh.
I heard about Copilot because I had a coffee chat with you guys. And I was very curious about like how we are gonna use it, like how can it help with my daily work.
You came to the right place. Thank you so much. This is great. Wonderful. Next.
Hi, my name is Marco. I'm a software architect at Generate AI agent. I mean, we are using AI a lot, but I want to see what Copilot can do.
Beautiful. On the Copilot side. Going back.
Small Microsoft consultancy, so we do D365, Fabric,
Excellent.
Power Platform, but I'm more sales and marketing, specialize in delivery on analytics, so we'll learn more about it.
Data, as they say, data is king and we are the quant. Yes. Next.
I'm Sam Kaufman. I work for AppPoint, which is a big Microsoft partner focusing on data security, data governance. It's been a big push these days because Copilot has access to all of your business's data. And a lot of folks are concerned about the consequences of that. So I help our customers, our partners, understand what the risks are and how they can mitigate it.
You just reminded me, AppPoint's in the neighborhood because one of the topics that comes up with our platform is governance, the big G word, to which AppPoint is one of my tools of choice. We're also a partner. I'll say hi to Stephanie for you. But yes, this is good. Thank you so much. Let's continue.
Hi, everyone. I'm Deep Patient. So I'm a graduate student in the field of AI. I'm right now being a student in Tech.
Excellent.
And this is my first winter in Chicago.
Oh, wow.
There
we go. First.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So it's been 6 months coming here in Chicago. So I just graduated from, I've been doing a master's out here. But I have a lot of interest towards building AI agents, orchestrations and other stuff. So I've been using different IDE. It's like Cursor, anti-gravity and other stuff. So I wanted to learn through how Copilot works, and if it's really good, I will start using it here after. So just to be in the right place here. And thank you for
I guess, where's Craig? I said, we have to be really good. Craig, where are you? Okay,
Thank you.
very good. Thank you.
Oh, hi.
Go ahead.
I'm Srini. I just graduated from United.
Yes.
And my roommate, he invited me. I was just curious about Copilot, so I just
Yes.
came.
Oh, you joining the meeting?
Yeah,
Just in time. You can introduce yourself since you're sitting down. I have some cards to give you.
yeah, sure. So my name is Vanya. I'm QA engineer. And I'm excited about this meeting to find out new information about the agents we build in it. And I'm Olga, and I'm a DevOps engineer.
Okay. All right. Hey, so you got it. Everyone's getting a card. Does everyone have a card for it? Yes. Pick a card, any card, and not the one I point to, any card.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, she likes that one. Okay, that's fine. Pick a card. There we go. It's going to be possibly used for a prize later, so
Oh, wow.
get a good card. It'll have a prompt in there that, there with prompts and some things that you can do with Copilot is what you're going to find in there. But so far we have a high card. The high cards are in their running, but hopefully we'll see what that looks like later on. All right. I see food and drink that's over here. We have a quick poll. Online, we gotta get moving a little bit. If you don't mind chatting in who you are, what you do, we'll go and take a look at that a little bit later. Really quick, let's say, so Jenny's paying, so I'm going to show just a couple of quick slides. Don't worry, we make these available later on to the folks that want to see it. Last time we had only one major program, was called the Jumpstart, to get you into the AI area. We were doing Gen AI Jumpstart, Gen AI in general. Capgemini will do, we'll do Gemini. We'll do basically the AWS styles, we basically do a lot of the main folks, including the Microsoft ones as well. But we have in 2026 two major areas. So essentially a deployment accelerator and an envisioning proof value ones. The key over here is that because we're a partner, Satya has money for you to help in what you're trying to do. And that's what this is over here. So we can go, if anyone's interested in this, we can go into the details, but I'm not going to go through it too much more. Meanwhile, Mr. Craig, hey, isn't that you in Chicago there?
That is me in Chicago, yeah. So we have one of like 15 in the this center is one of 15 in the Americas. So almost every major city, including in the United States. And then we have Toronto in Canada, Sao Paulo in Brazil, and Mexico City in Mexico. And then there's 33 of them across the world. A really, really big hub is obviously Seattle, Redmond. Tell your friends.
Yep. Okay. Let's see what we got here. All right. So some quick notes, quick on what's the news on the new over here. So turns out there's like so much news every week. So I said, Copilot, give me the news. And all of a sudden it went, I said,
Yeah,
no,
that's right.
Copilot, can you just give me the stuff that's impactful for everybody? And pretend we're not like multimillionaires and not rich. They said, this is what they came up with. In case we're wondering what this means, there was a concept Copilot chat had with model-driven apps. In other words, you could, in the model-driven app, you could actually put in a Copilot in there. That's gone because they're trying to make the unified chat system. Here's the thing, when you are going to see the demo later and you see how Copilot works, the concept is the way Copilot works, they're trying to make it be the same for the different applications. Microsoft has a tendency of coming at a problem from multiple angles, which is great. You're trying to get someplace, but at some point, somebody's going to win. In this case, I think VHS won over Betamax, however it worked, but that's happening. Other little things over here. I'm just trying to see what really is important over here.
So the big one that I saw, but I didn't, it was just announced like yesterday was, and I don't know if you know anything about it because I don't.
Go tell me.
GitHub Copilot SDK was announced.
I can actually know everything about that one. So there's this concept, all right? Now imagine there's a Copilot. The concept of Copilot is like you can use it in a certain way. It's got agent, has capabilities, it knows things. And you can go and make your own version of it, and you can control how that version works in it. And then you can create like a little CLI, which is a command line language. Like I just type in whatever I want and it'll do exactly as I say and not anything else. Essentially, they created an SDK to build your own versions of essentially Copilot itself in GitHub Copilot or a Gemini or like a Claude or any of those. If they went 2 levels beyond Claude, actually with this particular feature, because you would have to be like basically a serious developer if you wanted to make those kind of apps in the past. With this SDK, they made it actually very, very simple. And an agent on top of it to help you build it was the idea. So what's too important about that? What's important about it is that it's for the masses because it's an open source SDK. Anyone can download it. The folks can go very high level with not much skill to build something that's super good. You know, you get that, like just like having the power of the databases. Yeah, look, I can make databases and I'm the receptionist. You shouldn't be the receptionist building a database. You have a lot of power there. You basically should know what's going on at the very least. So that's the SDK piece that came out.
And then the other thing that I saw, what else I saw? No, that was it. Most of these are up there. Power Apps, new SDK, removes initialized.
Actually, this one's the most important to me because I would get mad at Outlook. You know, has anyone liked the new Outlook? Has anyone noticed that the new Outlook has changed from the old Outlook? This one, like, really? I mean, I thought it did it. It didn't. Apparently, this just came out. It understands inbox and calendar. You mean it never did before? It was lying all this time? What's going on? But actually it does. So when you say, I need a meeting for something, it actually gives you the right information, not some strange nonsense that didn't have to do with the playlist. That's my favorite at the bottom.
The GPT 5.2 model selector, that's pretty good. So now you can,
the deep thinker.
yeah, now you can pick a different model. It's kind of been there, but 5.2 is out. You can pick it whether you want it for quick releases. You can pick it for deep think mode, so it'll do a little bit deeper dive on what you're trying to do. You can also set it for auto, which means you ask the question, it'll determine.
It'll figure out,
based on what
do
the
I
question
really
you're
need to
asking.
think deep for you, or I'm just gonna give you whatever?
So
Actually, that's been working for me.
where some of that comes into play is whether or not you're licensed with M365 or you're doing a pay-as-you-go model. The organization may not want you using deeper models all the time because it costs more.
Or at all.
Or at all.
And they can turn it off. Oh, governance, yes, right there. Speaking of governance. All right, well, you had this one's the model choices, M365. Copilot will continue. I think we can hold that to a later. The human agent team, the facilitator agent was updated. This is the other resource update. This is still important. If anyone.
Got a question.
Oh, yes, you had a question.
I have a question on the model selector. Do we have any rate limit if we go to choose the model selector through Copilot?
Yes, you can actually pick from the download of models and you can make your own models and bring it now.
Yeah.
Copilot Studio.
Whether we do have any rate limits for that pattern? Is there any kind of limits for per day?
That's a good question. As far as
Can you
limits.
repeat the question, Ralph, for the people on the phone?
That's it. For the people on the phone, the question is there any limits for selecting the models that are available in Copilot Studio? So all 11,000 that Microsoft supports for AI Foundry, if it is supported in AI Foundry, it's just one step away from Copilot Studio. If it's not in the immediate drop down for the stuff, all you have to do is do it in AI Foundry and point to it and done. So there's no limit right now for which ones. It's your organization that decides governance, whether or not, yes, we allow it, no, we don't allow it. They may not allow certain whole swaths of things, but, and then people said 11,000. Is that all? It turns out there's more than 11,000 models out there, but that's a lot. So if that's not enough for you, I don't know, you're in Jeff Bezos territory already.
So out of the box, there's only a handful that you can access, but
That's directly immediately available, yeah.
if you wanted to, you could get to them. You just have to do what Ralph said, kind of maybe create something in Foundry and then bring that in.
We need to update this one slide. We need to add the AI Skills Navigator in here. But for now, there was one that I've been showing off to folks for the last 3-4 months. That's Agent Academy. If you really want to learn everything about Copilot Studio and become like a master user. That is my number one source, Agent Academy. Starting from recruit, operative has just come out, so you're now at the new level, and there's going to be like a master level that's coming out very soon. This one actually walks you through real life cases for using actually Copilot Studio, and it actually includes licensing, which I've never seen a Learn course include licensing with the tech discussion. Agent Academy has it because, you know, you can't make a tech decision if someone's going to turn you down because of licensing. So just wanted to cover that really quick. Now for
Danny,
Eddie. Oh, look, he looks like his picture. Yes, that's helpful.
you should have wore the jacket.
You should have worn a jacket. Yeah, you should have worn a jacket. That's okay. You're in Chicago.
Sorry.
That's what
Oh, no, let's go back. Let's go back. Oh, do we have the slides in here or does he put it on?
No, he's gonna,
I got it.
You got it over here, so we're gonna reconnect.
we're gonna try.
All right, cool. Welcome, guys. At least the weather's a lot better today compared to last week. So my name is Danny. I am an M365 architect with Cyclotron. We are a Microsoft partner. I work mainly on Copilot, Viva, Team, SharePoint, but right now what I've been mostly focusing on is helping clients with M365 Copilot, agent building with using Copilot Studio, and also a lot on the Viva platform here. So a quick intro about who we are. Like I said, we are a Microsoft partner. We are one of the leading partners to deploy the most licenses for Copilot across. We are one of the worldwide partners. So we are the first ever. I think there's a stat about 20% of all, or 30% of all the entries for Copilot licenses have been deployed by our team. So these are like a huge set of credentials that we have. We have our own products too, agent governance products called Pulse. Do a lot of migration too, a huge security team behind. I work as part of the collaboration team, mainly focused on the agent. So quick agenda for the next couple of minutes. I think I'm probably about like 45 minutes and I probably have to wrap up in time. This first one, let's talk about the agentic journey about like, we're all used to using just the normal Copilot, ChatGPT, and so how that actually transitions into agents and where the gap is. I want to talk there a little bit. And then jump into Copilot Studio Lite versus Copilot Studio. I know this is more about an introduction to Copilot Studio, but the way Microsoft structures is that there's two different platforms to build different kinds of agents. So I wanted to start with some of what the basics are from Microsoft's standpoint. And then from there, as I talk through, I want to come and do a lot of demos because to build an agent, there's like 6 different components that go into, right, within Copilot Studio. So I want to do a demo for different use cases, just so that you understand what some of the capabilities are. And feel free to stop me if you have any questions or if you want to table your questions to the end. We'll definitely love to talk to us about all that. So here, if you look at the slide here, right at the start, we are all there's a different Gen AI, different tools that we work with, like ChatGPT or M365 Copilot. This is more of a data retrieval, right? You ask it a prompt, it analysis, creates content, creates this graph documents or creates this images. It's more about you ask and it answers and it just basically creates. This is content generation, right? But the actual value, right, that actually falls in is that, so what is Copilot Studio or what is the agentic AI? It's only about Gen AI versus agentic AI. What does that do here? It's more about it basically in very simple terms, delivers outcomes. So it helps you do a lot of the actionable items or a series of actions. So let's say, for example, right now you have to manually create tickets. So you log into your ServiceNow platform or fill out these long forms, right? Imagine that the agent actually does it for you up on a single prompt. That's a lot of action that's taken. So that's more where when I say agentic AI, it's not just giving you content, but it is giving you content on what your ticket information or what the problem is. At the same time, it's going and doing an action, creating the ticket. This is a quick example here. So more on the agentic AI is basically it's an army of assistants or people who basically does your work and doing the review, doing the approvals and all of those things. So that's where the gap actually lies between Gen AI and agentic AI. And for most customers and companies that do, time saving is more on the Copilot Studio on the agentic side because it automates workflows, automate processes. So it's more about, think about like, you got to think about your workflow and how AI can help improve it, right? So it's more about the dollar amount is more reflected of when you work with Copilot Studio or these agents doing a lot of their work. That's kind of like a concept up here. And I love it how Microsoft, right? So before we start to build out or looking at how I build out these agents, at least from a Microsoft lens or standpoint, they've simplified agent building into 3 different symbol types. So I'll explain with the help of an example. So if you look at the diagram, right, it starts with a simple retrieval, task, autonomous, and goes way into advanced. So let's say the retrieval. So retrieval is more about, I kind of like to understand it's one-way conversation. You ask it and you get a response. So let's say you have a 60-page long document lying. It's more of a RAG concept. You have a lot of content, right, in a SharePoint library or like a long PDF documents, and you ask it to an agent, right, and the agent has this document as a data source, or we call it knowledge in Copilot Studio terms. It is able to understand what the content of the document is and gives you in a more summarizable, readable form. That's more about what Microsoft Copilot can do. So simple data retrieval agents are called retrieval agents. The second is task-based. So imagine that you didn't have the right information in that PDF long document. So you wanted to put a request with the HR or with the IT team, right? So it's more of an action-based thing that you have to do something on your behalf. Just think about it, you have to create Azure DevOps stories or for PMs, right? You gotta create, or you need to send it for approval, or you need to do a lot of processing. So task-based agents are more of a two-way. You ask it, gives you the content, and it actually does something with the content. And this is more about doing a lot of actions in all of your different platforms. It could be updating a data system in Oracle, or it could be, changing your Dataverse tables, or making edits or updates to it. So that task-based agents are more of a two-way. And the reason why I said it's important to understand the spectrum of agents is because once you understand this, because now it helps you understand which tool or platform within Copilot Studio that you need to go about building these. So we have the retrieval, task, the autonomous. So the autonomous agents are, think about it like a workflow. It's like an agentic AI at the back end. It's completely doing its entire processes. So for a simple example, in the supply chain industry, right? Let's say agents monitoring for increasing raw material prices, right? And it says, and once the prices goes up, it immediately makes an action and places orders, or it's able to forecast and plan the whole inventory of in the warehouse itself. So, or an autonomous agent, like one of my favorite examples, let's say you have a real estate company, right? And one of the biggest things that you get is like, oh, Danny, I need to see this place. Can you set up or create these appointments or scheduling? So right now, as a person, you have to go call the agent or the listing agent, and you got to set up these showings. But what if you have this email that comes in, right, to a service account, and this is an agent that's monitoring this inbox? It doesn't read through the content, but understands your requirement and your need, and automatically schedules a meeting for you, right? So that is like literally helping you assist with meeting scheduling based on that. So that's the concept of an autonomous agent that operates independently. You just have to, make sure which all actions it needs to, give it the logic, give it the conditions. So these are 3 simple steps on how we build agents from a Microsoft standpoint. It's a simple FAQ, or kind of like data retrieval. I would say retrieval agent, task-based, a two-way conversation, and then one is the autonomous one, which basically does a lot of series of actions. And why this was important is if you're looking to start your journey, right, in starting to build these agents, the conceptual understanding of the kinds of agents is important. And what Microsoft has beautifully done is they've outlined different platforms within the M365 ecosystem to actually go about building these agents. So if you look, the first simple one, it's called Agent Builder or Copilot Studio Lite. So this is as part of your license. So if you have a M365 or Copilot license, that's Copilot available in Word, Excel document, you have full capabilities to build these agents in Copilot Studio Lite and also the Copilot Studio Full. If you look at the first Agent Builder, Copilot Studio Lite, there's been back and forth. Microsoft keeps changing these names a couple times. So I think now they've settled in Agent Builder. A month ago was Copilot Studio Lite. A couple of months, 6 months before, it was Agent Builder. So now I think that's why I did an Agent Builder / Copilot Studio Lite. So this, if you have an M365 Copilot license here, has anyone played with Copilot before? Like just normal Copilot, show of hands? Okay, yeah. So you do actually have full capabilities to build both these agents out. And so for the end users, there's more for the business users, just build out these simple declarative agents. And I can show you a quick demo of that in a second. And the Copilot Studio Full is mainly for makers. If you do have Power Platform experience working with automated flows, connectors, it's very recommended for you to get started on Copilot Studio Full. I did not have a Power Platform background at all. If you were asking me this question last year, this time, I had zero knowledge where agents were. So just went up very first to Power Platform 2, but this is a low code platform, right? It's not, you have to be technical, you have to be non-technical. If you have the passion, this is a very drag drop kind of a method. You just need to understand, if you have a Power Platform background, it does help with some of the basics of flows and the formulas and all of that. But this is it's a low code solution for agent building. And it's quite simple if you understand the capabilities of that. And for the hardcore developers where you can build out these custom engines from scratch, and I know Ralph was talking about 11,000 different models, right? Copilot Studio, it's limited. You currently can only work with 5 models. You do have the ability to bring in models. There's a lot of complex steps you have to do, but you can. But for those most multi-agent or multi-different cloud agents, that's basically Azure AI, where you can create your own, you can train your agents to. Copilot Studio does not let you train agents, but it's like you're just using the agent capability within your workflow here. So going back a slide here, right? These are the 3 different types: simple, task, and autonomous. Copilot Studio can help you create all of these 3 different type of models. But if you're looking at a simple retrieval, conversational kind of agent, I would definitely start with Agent Builder. My recommendation here is to start with Copilot Studio Lite because it gives you like this, gives you like a framework to first start what the basics agents are, and then you go a step up to the full Copilot Studio experience here. So having said that, so here I want to start with the basic Copilot Studio Lite here. So if you have, M365 Copilot licenses, you do have the ability to actually start to create agents up here. It's basically creating your own custom Copilot grounded in a particular setup of data set. Just going a couple slides here, right? So what can you do? So you can basically create knowledge-only agents. It is very low code. You don't need any development or skills. It's just basically just to understand what these agents are. So a couple housekeeping items. So when you go about design, it's going to be a little different from the Copilot Studio Full, but at least taking a look at from a Copilot Studio Lite standpoint, these are the 4 things that I want you to take a look at. And as I go through this, like keep these points in mind, and in my demo, I'm going to reference these. So let's start with what are the building blocks of defining a very simple agent in Copilot Studio Lite. First, the knowledge. That's basically your organization content, your files, your documents, your chats, your Outlook emails, or any public sites that you want to reference it. That's the knowledge that you give the agent to feed, to understand, and all basically just to craft the response for you. The second, capabilities in a Copilot Studio Lite agents falls into 2 different categories. There's a thing called code interpreter and an image generator. What that does is basically helps you generate files. Like, but by default, these agents are more, like just data focus and content creation, but you have the capabilities turned on. It has the ability to compare documents, create documents for you, and also create different images. Instructions. So instructions is kind of like the manual that the agents follow on how it behaves. So what you're basically like telling is like, let's say you have a different version of Danny, and I'm like a dummy here. And you exactly tell me, if somebody asks you this is what you have to do. And what Danny does is he just understands and just follows the instructions, right? And if you do something out of the instructions, he say, hey, sorry, I can't do it. That's exactly how he tells. So it doesn't really, the agent doesn't like really, it's not being trained, but the LLM model understands these instructions and uses as a guidelines as it goes about responding, or it's more like, hey, you are an editor or you're a FAQ agent. Your job is to help understand or respond back these questions in these areas. So that's the instructions. And the prompts is how you can control end users to interact with it. So these are like starter prompts. Every agent you build, you can like feed it 6 prompts by default. So when you open up an agent, like it kind of helps end users on what you can, on how we can start to engage with the agents and just basically start a conversation there. So this is key. And this for Copilot Studio Lite, these are the 4 different components. And how does this actually work? So in the next slide here, I have a quick architecture. If you look at it, so this is just, if it's called declarative agents, it's basically you use AI or just Copilot to help write the instructions for you. So if you say the orchestrator, right? So the orchestrator is more, think of it as like the brain or like the conductor who does what the agent has to do. It's backed by the foundational model. So right now it's basically ChatGPT 5.0, right? So the foundation model gives the orchestrator the ability to understand the language processing, the prompts, what the prompt's about, what it needs to do. And the orchestrator basically on the right, it's basically fed with instructions and knowledge and the capabilities. So these are the two things. So all of this is just Microsoft provided. Within your license, it gives you this. And all you got to do is basically from an end user standpoint, which is in Copilot chat. So these agents are just restricted to Copilot chat, and I'll show you in a bit, is you put the prompt in, that's the end user experience. And all you got to do is configure the instructions, the knowledge, it's basically your files or your document library or the links, and then the capabilities if you do need for creating of these documents. So that's kind of like how the architecture of this very simple declarative agent works. When we get to the Copilot Studio, this architecture kind of changes a little bit, but let me just, it's a lot of contextual information, but I'm going to pull my screen here and then walk you through a very simple quick demo here. All right, so I'm on my screen here, and if you can see, so right now I'm logged in my Teams, right? So there are different ways to get to Copilot chat. You can go to microsoftcloud.com, there you can pull up your Copilot search or the app itself. But here in my Teams instance, right, I go to the Copilot icon here on the left, and you see here, right, so if you have a license, you would see the work and the web. The work is basically, I think I'm going to go open a new chat here up the top. Yeah, basically work that's where all your organization data is grounded. All the M365 data, SharePoint, Teams, Outlook, you name it, that's what you see here. On the left side, you see these are the agents from Microsoft. There could be agents that you created and you built and you shared with it. So if you do have an M365 Copilot license, you do have the ability to go and click create, and you can create your own agent here. So just for the sake of the demo here, I wanted to show you what the UI experience is like. So this is talking about Copilot Studio Lite, building some of the knowledge-based agents here. So at the start, when you come up here, you see there's a describe on a configure. There's a couple templates that Microsoft gives you that you can start off with an idea coach, career coach, and all of that. It has preset instructions and things like that here. If I go to the describe tab here, right, I can chat with Copilot. So like, hey, I need to build a FAQ agent on M365 technology. And you can see here, right? And basically I'm having it. So this is a declarative way of having a conversation with Copilot and having Copilot build an agent out to you. So with this one prompt, right, it understands my need to be a FAQ agent. It's automatically giving me a description, creating these custom prompts in here, right? So it's all depending on M365 technology. And let's use a name for the agent. Yeah, I'm gonna say it suggests me a name, M365 FAQ. Like I was like, yeah, yes, please. Let's do that here. Yep, the agent will be named. And and now I can actually test with it. So by default, when you actually try to create it, this is gonna connect to the web. Every information that you have through accessing to the basic Copilot. But if you want to trim it down, restrict it, and if you're very clear on what kind of agent you want to build, go over to the configure tab, right? So by default, it already wrote a description, and this is the instruction panel here. You're telling him, serve as a knowledge assistant for answering frequently asked questions around M365 technology, provide clear, concise responses. And this is basically the manual that you need to give, right? So this is the best basic instructions. I can give you much more detailed one. So here you could see, what if I ask this agent who's the president of India, it's going to respond because it has the world knowledge. I don't want it to do that. If you ask a HR question, it'll give you its own opinion because the web knowledge is turned on. So if you want to scope it down to your own specific Microsoft technology here, scroll down, you see here, right? Knowledge. I'm going back to the 4 concepts of the building blocks of the agent. So this is where you can by default put in your SharePoint URL, or you can include this is new, you can include a Teams chat, files, your Outlook emails, or now here I can actually add in the web link here as well. So if I don't think I have the MicrosoftLearn.com, but I can show you here. And if I wanted to turn on to search all the websites, this will go out into the public, get all the information. If I only wanted to use specified resources, and that's when I have to do that. And you see this section called add other data sources, right? And these are data that's coming in from third-party systems. So there's a concept called Copilot connectors within M365, previously known as Graph connectors, where you have the ability to connect to ServiceNow, Azure DevOps, SQL, file shares. You can connect to on-prem platforms, and yours, even you can build in these custom connectors, and you can connect your data to those sources. And using these connectors, you can bring in that content here on your agent to actually interact and reason with. So those are some of the data sources. Your data sources could be just your files, your SharePoint URLs here, and the capabilities like outlined, right? So create documents, charts, and codes. If you want your agents to understand code, create images, you can turn these on. And the last component of the simple agent here is the suggested prompts. By default, it creates it, but you can also have it, you put in your own prompts here. So for the sake of this demo, right, I have a clear understanding of the kind of agent that I already built this out here. So if I go click edit here, right, and I see that, it's going to pull up in a second. This will take me to the configure tab. I've already given a description, and these are my instructions, right? You are a Microsoft Tech agent that helps answer technical questions, all of that. And if you look at the knowledge, right, I said only use specific sources, and all I need is to look at these different public URLs, which is basically the learn documentation from Microsoft. And I asked that, okay, I turn on the capabilities to create images and documents too, and I have some suggested starter prompts here. On the right, you see here, this is more of an agent preview. So before you actually update or publish your agent, you can test it out here. And how this agent building concept works is you test it on the right. If you see that responses are weird, go back to the instructions and reiterate it. So that's how you actually fine tune and ensure that your agent is behaving in the right way. So if you see here, right, it's a simple question that I asked. You see it's actually referencing the citations. It's coming, I think it's basically pulling in from the Microsoft documentation itself. If I go back, yep. Right, see, it's referencing all the learn.microsoft.com information here, and it's going to give you a lot of the, learn documentation information. So if I click on it, basically it's going to take me straight there to Microsoft SharePoint connector and Power Automate. So let me go back, update this, and then throw in a quick couple simple prompts here, just so that. So I have a couple prompts here. So this is step one, baby steps one on how to actually start, building this. And the great thing about this agents in Copilot Studio Lite is you can actually create your own agent. And when I talk about agent, it doesn't have to be for the whole organization. It could be just for yourself. I use this as a Microsoft Tech consultant. I use this agents to ask my questions. When customers ask me, instead of going to Google or any of the other browsers, I ask the agent because it has all of the M365 learn documentation, and I get it with the references. And it's not just asking simple questions. I ask it scenario-based questions like, hey, I have this problem with the customer with these graph connectors. Give me steps to troubleshoot it. And this is my error I'm seeing. What do I do? So it actually outlines some of those issues that I'm facing here. So a couple prompts I'm going to try out here real quick over the next minute here, and then I want to go. So Copilot Studio building plans. So this is a huge governance topic that comes in, right? And if you look at the Microsoft documentation, it's long. There's so many links here. But what it does is the agent understands it and gives to me in a very readable format, right? The types of billing. Option one, pay as you go. And option two, the prepaid capacity. So like I literally had a call with the customer who actually wanted me to craft this up. Any question in the front? Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. Why do we need multiple agents in your work? Like if you have ChatGPT, you can just basically assign different projects based on your needs. So why do we need like personalized agents for work?
It depends on the use case or the type, right? So it could be personal or it could be department specific. You couldn't handle HR related queries or IT based use cases within ChatGPT or just a normal, right? So one of the agents, very simple agents that we built was like a statement of work review purpose. Like you give it a document, you have this set of rules and the instructions, and I'm asking the agent to review and give me a score based on that, right? Think of it as me just doing it personally. I open up the document and I look at it. It might take time, but if I feed it as the instructions and just give it to this agent, right? So it's more of a repetitive process. I could potentially prompt this in Copilot chat, but every time I do with the file, I need to re-prompt it again and again and again. But this is like, I have like a room where it's only designed to do these reviews. Just throw the document in, I'll give you the full report. So so agents are more geared towards having this personalized use cases. It could, for me right now, this matters to me because it's my work, but it could be a department-based thing or a use case. That's where these agents come to be more valuable.
Yes, you could have like, you have your own individual things in your work, but you could, if you're running a team, you could create one for the team, right? Because you know that's what the team.
Right. And you can add these agents to a Teams chat or a Teams channel too,
Yeah.
and actually chat with it side by side. And these same agents you can build on SharePoint sites too. And there's so much of use cases. If you go look at the agent use case library from Microsoft, you would see like millions of different kinds of use cases. And one quick thing I want to show you is like, see, right? So in my instructions at the end, I said that at the end of every response, ask the user if they want to create the response in a Word document. So if you see here, right, so it gives me like pre-suggestions, and this is AI generated. And if I say like, yes, generate the Word document for me, want this in a Word document. And why the agent's asking me the question itself is because I've specified in the instruction that you should always ask that. I'll show you the instruction. And normal, knowledge-based agents will not be able to create these files. This is a capability that I turned on. I can see here, right? Copilot Studio Building Plans.com. I've got the doc file, and I was able to download it, and you can see, just pull it up here. Okay. You see here, right? So this is a quick, I just have basically the same information up here. Now, I think I'm a little behind time, so I am going to go back to my slides here. Just really quick go through Copilot. So that's just a quick overview of basically what Copilot Studio Lite is. That's the first demo here. Now, that's for the end business user. If you have experience in Power Platform or even have a passion to, 11 months ago, I had nothing to do with agents, what they are. It's my first time in opening it up. And then once I started it, it takes time. But if you have a passion, you'll get there. So this is a low-code tool for building agents, and that's basically Copilot. And that's how the UI actually looks here. So I'm going to skip a couple of slides here. So you see now that the building blocks, the components of a Copilot Studio agent kind of changed. It's a little bit more capabilities that came up here. Earlier it was 4, now it's 6. It is similar, like it's like a brother. It's like these are brothers because like there's more of an older brother. So you see the knowledge, the same RAG or those data source applies. 2, instructions, important, the same manual stuff applies there. Tools. So if you go back to my initial sites of the different types of agents, like with simple, there's this task-based one and autonomous one, right? The tools are the one where you can actually do the automations. I don't know if you have heard of MCPs. Tools, there's AI prompts. It's like an AI pane within an agent. It's like a very prompt-specific thing. I have a demo for that. So tools are the one that basically creates the action base, like creating the ticket or even writing the data back to Salesforce or so. So there are a lot of tools capabilities. You don't have that in Copilot Studio Lite, but this is the full capabilities. Topics. So in Copilot Studio Lite, it's very generative, right? There's no, if I want the agent to ask every time these couple of questions, you're just giving the AI the full control to just have the interaction, right? It's talking to human. But if you have a very custom specific use case on where a conversation go, you can customize a part of the agent in the conversation base, and I'll show you. Triggers. Triggers are more autonomous based agents, right? So back to the example of the real estate company that's going, right? You get these emails, right? And when I get the emails, the agent's triggered and it knows, understand the emails and responds back. So that's more of an autonomous capability. So the triggers basically come under that. Channels. Copilot Studio Lite only lets you build agents within the Copilot chat interface. Anytime you want to go use the agent, you've got to go there and work with it. But here in Copilot Studio, you have the ability to publish to Teams, Copilot chat, and also third-party WhatsApp, Facebook, and all the other different, even on a demo site or a public site, you have the ability to publish those channels to other channels as well. So you have full capabilities compared to the Lite version. And again, I have a simple architecture here. So I know we took we understood the Copilot Studio Lite approach, but this is more of a, so now Copilot Studio lets you actually customize and build an agent from scratch using these simple building blocks, right? It's still low code, but it's basically, you're gonna, every card, you have to pick it up and configure it for the agent to be actionable. So same architecture here, right? So you have the orchestrator backed by the foundation model. Here you have the option as of today to choose from 5 different models that also includes anthropic models there. And then you see the user experience. Those are the different channels now. It's 10 plus, and you can interact with the agent at the top. And you see you have the knowledge again, the instructions and the grounding, the skills. That's basically the trigger, the workflow. You can call Power Automate flows from there. And this is a beautiful capability called the autonomy planning exception and self-learning. So what this means is that if you instruct Copilot, like say, open, get me this information from Salesforce. So you're using a connector or a tool. But in order for the agent to do that, it would need an ID or information from the end user, right? So the agent would automatically, the orchestrator understands the need and automatically ask questions like, hey, give me the ID. So it keeps it conversational, gets the information, then goes into the tools and gets the right set of data for that particular prompt. And stretching this a little further, right? These custom engines, right? You didn't see this in the light version. You have the ability to connect to other Copilot Studio agents or agents in Azure Foundry, and that's called multi-agent orchestration. I'm actually working on a project right now. We're working with 5 different agents. It's like a main orchestrator agent. Depending on the question of the prompt, it will invoke different agents, bring in the response, and each agent's focus on different knowledge sources, different actions. One is just for scheduling meetings, others just for data retrieval, others just connecting to another MCP. So you can have an army of agents. That's like the huge agentic AI, is to have an army of agents, each skilling doing a lot of different work. So this is kind of like a little architecture of what a custom Copilot agent is. Now, if I go back here, right, this is a little bit more similar architecture planner. I see the foundation model. The triggers are basically a Power Automate flow. It could be manual. It could be when a data is written to SharePoint or an email comes in or a form being filled. And there's so much. If you work with, anybody who worked with Power Platform here before? Power Platform, yeah? So you know all the connector sets. If you have a good understanding of that, this is cake. It's very easy to build it out. And you see it's basically using a flow, and you can edit the flow and tweak it to there. And then you see the instructions, the knowledge, the topic, and the tools. And these are different capabilities here. Now, I know I am way behind time, so I'm just gonna jump into the demo. I have like a lot of demos here for you guys. So then I will talk to us what some of those are. Okay. All right. Cannot find my, oh, there you go. So I wanted to actually touch with the knowledge-based agent. This is the agent that's built using Copilot Studio, right? And this is a ServiceNow agent. It connects to content and data in ServiceNow. And this is more about an IT manager agent, more for reporting use cases. So quick example here, I want to show here is like, what are the tickets assigned to David, right? So what this agent does is, and I'll pull up Copilot Studio in a second here, but I wanted to talk through this here. I couldn't find any ServiceNow tickets. Okay, that's weird. I'm using a dev instance. I don't know if my ServiceNow instance is dead. So this is the actual ServiceNow site where you have a list of all the tickets that you see here, right? So this is an agent that I just connected a knowledge here. And if I go back to, yeah, this is one of the previous prompts that I ran here, right? It says here, what are the tickets assigned to David? You see here, this is actually pulling in information for ServiceNow. And this knowledge is not just connecting to some simple documents. This is using a Copilot connector or the graph connector to actually go grab this information. This data has been indexed in M365. If you go down, filter David's ticket by status, I could see that here, and I could give me all the active tickets here, scrolling down here, right? These are all the different tickets that I have, title, description, task numbers, and things like that here. I don't know why I wanted to do a new prompt here. Let's try again. Let's see. Any incidents were open for service issues. So it's more in a contextual. So this is more for managers to have reporting insights on all those open action items, tickets within ServiceNow. Yeah, so see here, right? So I do see it's referencing some. And it's gonna pull up this request in ServiceNow here. Okay. Yeah, didn't work the way it. Yeah, so you see the sources, it's actually pulling some content from here. So this is another knowledge-based agent that I wanted to show you, but now let me pull up Copilot Studio full. Oh, it's in the screen here. Let me walk you through some examples. Okay. So if you go to copilotstudio.microsoft.com, these are all the different agents that I'm working on, just testing out for POC purposes. So you have these different environments that you see here. So uses the same concept of Power Platform environments. So you build these agents with an environment here. You can start by creating a blank agent. So if you click here, very similar to the Copilot Lite version, you can chat with AI and help the Copilot write out the instructions for you, give it a name, and set up all the data sources. Or you can directly come into the agent pane. So this is how the authoring experience is like. So I'm just going to give a quick rundown of the UI itself. So what you saw the agent with the ServiceNow, right? That's the end user experience once you deploy it, once you publish it. But this is more of the developer backend version. So if you see, you can give it a name. It's actually taking a couple minutes to actually set up. So once you see that the feature isn't available until the agent has finished setting up. It always takes a couple of minutes for it to actually start working. And your agent have been provisioned. So I can always give it a name, give it a description. You see here, this is how you can select your agent's model here, right? So these are right now it's limited to only 6 models. Here you cannot bring in models yet. Microsoft has options to actually add more models here to Copilot. And this is the instruction pane where you add in those instructions. Knowledge is, if I click here, this is basically the different public sites. I can add Azure AI Search. If you have an index in Azure, you can bring the data here. Dataverse, ServiceNow, Salesforce. So these are some of the out of the box, and all of this are out of the box. You have authentication, you have security built into all of these knowledge connectors. All gotta do is basically set it up. So the demo that I did for the ServiceNow one was basically using this. Oh, my bad. Yeah, it's basically using this ServiceNow graph connector here. I think I had it up here on the feature. So if I go to ServiceNow, you see here, I'm using these connectors that's already been set by the M365 admin and basically using this ticket connectors to actually create that knowledge-based ticket agent here. So that's just the knowledge part here. If I go back, and you can scroll down now, you have the full view up here too, but if I go up to knowledge or tools, and I just went through knowledge, I'm not gonna add anything, but I'm gonna show another one. So here tools is, when if I click add a tool, here's where you see AI prompts, flows. And if you guys are working with Power Platform, you would be very familiar with all of these different connectors. This is basically Power Platform connectors wrapped in AI, right? You're using natural language to set and configure these different tools and connections here. And if you have an MCP, there's a lot of MCPs that's out of the box deployed by Microsoft here. So a quick difference between a connector and an MCP. So a connector is, it could either get you a list of, for example, let's talk about the Outlook connector, right? You can find meeting times between 2 people, or create a meeting, or create an event, or grab calendar information. These are different connectors having different focus use case. What an MCP does is, it's basically, by definition, that's AI. You can have, it's a universal adapter that enables AI to connect to different systems and also. So the Outlook thing that I told, right? So contact management MCP, or there's an email management MCP. So earlier, you need to have 5 different connectors to do 5 different action items. But with an MCP, you have all of them built into this. So it basically helps you save build time. All you need to do configure, because there's a lot of tools within this MCP. So when you prompt using natural language, the MCP is smart enough, and that basically either it sends an email out or creates a meeting. It all does everything for you here. So that's a quick rundown about knowledge, tools, and here you have the ability to add other agents to topics. So there are always custom topics and system topics. So for proper functional of a basic agent that you see here, for example, see, hello, I'm an agent. This is a a greeting, let's say like hello. I'm gonna start, right? So this is basically invoking topics here. So these are custom topics that helps agent. So you see here, I said hello, and it's been triggered by choose the agent, handle queries like hello, hi, and all of that, and give you a message. So this is like custom topic. So whenever you provision an agent, Microsoft has a standard set of 8 to 12 system or custom topics it has, and that's very functional for proper functioning of this agent here. But I'll get to that in a bit. Activity is, you can see all of the rundown times of the agent here. Analytics is basically, you can see once you publish the agent, you can see how well the agent's been performed. And the channels are here, basically the different areas where you can actually publish the agents here up to. Okay, now I'm going to do 2 demos, and I'm going to wrap up here. So this is an internal assistant agent here that I have. You can see here, I have a description of what the internal assistant agent should do. Is basically help employees at this company called Gemini with any HR related queries here. And if you look at my instructions, right, I'm calling out, you're an internal assistant agent for all employees at Gemini. Your responsibility is to help answer end user company related questions, and I create tickets if they need to. So I'm calling out this, like, if the user's query cannot be solved by the manager or no relevant information is found in the employee documents, automatically trigger the topic, and so that the user can connect with the IT support for help support. And also, if they wanted to track the status of the ticket, you can call this. Or if you want a list of all the tickets, I can directly call a connector from Dataverse and get all this. So instructions is, this is what the agent needs to do. It should actually help answer questions, create tickets, or give the end user the ability to track these different information. I see I have some files here for knowledge, right? And I have some tools that I added here. And then if you look at some of my topics here, I'm going back. I see like track your ticket status and create a ticket advance. And I have some of these topics to play around with. So what I'm going to ask is, so on the right-hand side is where you can test and, have multiple test and iterations to test out these tools, knowledge, and agents here. So here, these are quick replies, submit a ticket, or track the status of the ticket. So let's go ahead and very quick submit a ticket here. On the left-hand side, you see the topic. So it basically triggered. So trigger this topic whenever the user wants to create a ticket or need additional information. Now I'm customizing this topic and telling the agent, hey, whenever a user asks about creating a ticket, you should follow these steps. So by default, I'm using this concept called adaptive cards to capture information in a very creative way. So let's say a title is need access to Dynamics or so, right? And then I could just copy paste that and paste it here. These cool drop downs, I can do access request and then subcategory or so. And I click create a ticket. So take a look on the left-hand side, right? So once I created the ticket, it's asking me, it's a follow-up question. So usually in support tickets, if you have errors or issues, you have the ability to, attach a file here. So do you have a screenshot? You see, it's a question, it's a multiple choice. I'm going to give it no for now. And once I do that, on the left side, this topic is actually calling a Dataverse. It's going into a Dataverse table, getting information about the user who's logged in here. Yep, your request is being processed, a confirmation email sent to you. So what it does is, I'm going to take a pause here, just go up and see. So what did I do? I said I need to put in a ticket, give it the information. So first I went into Dataverse, got information about who the user who was logged into the system is, assigned that to a variable, and then basically added a new row to it. So what at the back end happens is when you put a ticket here, this is basically a single line or a row in the Dataverse table where the IT team would get assigned to in Dynamics, and they'll work from there. So all of the tickets would end up in Dataverse. So once the ticket's been created, I see here I've made a customized message saying, hey, your ticket's been created here, and you see the ticket number and the content here. And moreover, once the ticket's created, I've triggered it to actually send an email out to the end user confirming that, hey, so if I open up my email here a second, opening that up, and you can see, yep, your ticket confirmation. And this is the agent sending this on behalf of the topic that you've configured here. So your support tickets have been created, ticket number, title, and all the information. And I come back at a later time to see if my ticket's been solved. I want to say, let's say, track the status of my ticket. And then it's probably going to ask me for my ID. And then gonna post it here. There you go. So it's basically called another Dataverse connector. I think. Trying to send you. So went back into the Dataverse triple, used my ID, got the information, and then it's basically displayed my ticket in the summary here. So this is a concept of using topics, connectors, tools, all within the agentic framework. One more example that I want to show here real quick is regarding an app. I actually created this agent last night. Very, very simple, real quick. It's an Azure DevOps agent. Anybody here works with Azure DevOps? No. So this is an agent here. So if I go to the overview tab here, right? So I have a description and an instruction here, right? So product managers have different conversations in meetings regarding like, how to build products. And then what do they do with it? They want to craft like stories, epics, and things associated with it. That's one of the big part. So what this agent would do is actually give you ability to upload a file, which actually has a conversation, or even copy paste the transcript there. And what the agent would do is get the information out of the file or what you provide in the chat, pass it to a topic. And within that topic, there's a thing called AI prompts, where the agent would understand the context and recommend on the right-hand side, these are epics 1, 2, 3, and that's the task and issues associated with it. And then it's going to say, do you want me to go create these items in Azure DevOps? And I'm going to show you that real quick here. So let's say I'm going to start here on the right-hand side. Right. So, hey, I'm a DevOps evaluate agent, upload a transcript file or enter the transcript. So I'm going to say enter the transcript here. Let me copy paste some content that I have on my side. And I can upload a file too. So for now, I'm just going to paste it here. So what I'm going to paste in the chat is the conversation transcripts I have, the content. And you see here, it's between conversation with the product manager, the engineering lead, and in a second. So it invoked the topic here on the left side. And you see there's an AI prompt, and I'm going to open that up here. What it does is that, So it broke down the transcripts in the file or the text that you give and says epic 1, that's the task, that's the issue. And see, it's broken down into 4 different epics, task, and issues, these 3 components in Azure. Are you ready to have these items created in Azure DevOps? If I could say yes, take a look on the left-hand side. It is gonna call the out-of-the-box Azure DevOps connector here and automatically start to create all these work items. And then you get a summary, and this are, imagine the time it's saved, right, to generate this, right? So you see here, the following epics have been created in Azure DevOps, epic 1, 2, 3, and look at the bottom. Tasks and issues will be created under epic as discussed. And I'm going to say, yes, I think it already created. So let me go up. There you go. So if we refresh it, basically, yeah, it created the 4. I think these are epics, issues, and tasks associated with it, right? And this is just raw information. And I could give it more meat, customize the connector. There's a lot of parameters there. I can pre-assign it to somebody. So right now in the agent, when you do an Azure DevOps connection there, just going to pull it up real quick. Right. So if I go to tools, you can see that I just used 1 work item, and this is how you set it up for every connector. There's the input and the output. So if I go down inputs, I've preset where I need the agent to end creating these items. So I have the organization name, the project name, the work type. So dynamically filled by AI. So depending on the text you have on the right, the model knows this should be epic, or should be your work item or issue. So it automatically chooses it, and that's how you saw it was able to create those items there. Title, description, link type, if it needs to be related or not, and there's different options here. So that's a quick, and guys, I just scratched the surface. There's so much more capabilities here, but yeah.
I have a question over this. We are building AI agents based on instructions and orders. It says top on hard desktop. So I just have a question that if I prepare or create an AI agent based on this, for example, this is the same AI agent I am developing in my system.
Sure.
Can I able to publish or share to my team or other people can use that one?
Great question. Yes and no. So everything that you see from a Microsoft standpoint, it's all authenticated with, you need to have an M365 account, right? You can deploy custom agents through Teams as an app, not as an agent, but it will be accessible. You just have to zip it up, upload to Teams. So in Azure, I have Foundry, right? You create these custom agents and you can actually deploy it. Yes, you have the ability to, but the authentication piece, we probably have to build it out and configure it within that. Like however you want it to SSR or not, you probably have to code it out within the agent itself. But yes, if your answer is, can I deploy an agent created by another, let's say for like example, another tool, LangGraph, can I publish it to M365 Teams? You can, yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit more developer on the side. You'll be able to.
How can we promote this agent to the organization? Like when you just see publish right there, like what if we want to promote this?
So that's when you say promote it as like how end users can access it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically it's three channels, right? My recommendation would always start with Teams. And I mean, if you're using Copilot Studio, it makes more sense to actually push these agents out within your M365 tenant. So Teams and the reason why I say Teams and Copilot Chat is every knowledge worker, the majority, 80% of the time that you spend is in Teams. That's where you have meetings, you chat, and use Copilot Chat to get your work information, right? So it's more accessible, more easier within a click to access the agent. So the first recommendation would be promoting within the Microsoft channel itself. And the good thing is that you need to have a Copilot license to be able to freely interact with these agents. If not, there's other ways for non-Copilot users to. There's on a consumption basis, but it's more on the current.
Is there any way that this ADO agent can be promoted as a standalone agent? Like you said, the nice sound of Microsoft Copilot. That they can choose this agent.
Like the end user, yeah, you can subset it to a group of users. So if you only need like a team or 10, 20 people to use it, you can do that. You can also open it up to the entire organization as well.
When we publish the agent to the end user, how would we know that the agent is giving valid answers to the questions they ask?
That's a great question. You need to actually evaluate and test it. It's supposed to actually, oh yeah, well, for the end user or from an agent standpoint, from the end user?
The answers from the agents when the question asked. So the agent is giving the right response instead of giving random kind of thing.
Hallucination, yeah. Usually we validate based on citations. We always say like, any response, even using like either Copilot or ChatGPT, right? You would want to look at where the answer is referencing. You wouldn't blindly. It's not autopilot, it's Copilot. So one way is you look at the references and evaluate it based on that. Other is we do our developer due diligence and training it, evaluating it. There's ways to test, train some of these agents with the data sets that you give. So
You have evaluation in the
they're at the top.
There is an evaluation tool. This is fairly real. Where you can actually create test questions. And you can actually run these tests over and over, and it will be like a third party. I don't know that guy. I'm just here giving an independent result. Basically, you're telling that agent sucks. No, you're making them fight with this tool.
This came out last month.
Back at the end of the prompts that you can give it a thumbs up, thumbs down.
Right.
I think if you give it a thumbs down, now I've had it happen a couple times where it asked me why it was wrong and do I want to put screenshots with that? So
You see here, right? So if it's FAQ based, this is very important for agents on production, like customers
Somebody actually looks at this. There's humans behind that somewhere.
Yeah, and that's how we know. And like, yeah, and see here, you can tell us about your experience I submitted.
Must be very sad people to see so many thumbs down.
One thing I've seen it's one of the products we are working on to validate these responses, right? They have a QA quality agent that's custom trained on all the right answers. And before the agent comes, the QA agent evaluates that's basically multi-agent orchestration and give a confidence score. If it's above 80% of the threshold, it'll get sent to the end user. If not, it goes to a queue where the knowledge management team would review the answer, then go back to the data source. I mean, if your data is proper, the answer should be almost accurate. But if you have so much unstructured data, it's not properly indexed, that's where the gap comes. So there are different ways on how to tackle that and ensure there's the right content that comes out of the doors. Right.
Responses that the questions the users has asked.
Yeah. it's actually stored in the transcripts. So the back end of all this environment you see is a Dataverse table. So you need to have a bot transcriptor view. It's a role that's assigned in the environment. You actually can, but it's in a raw format. You probably need to export it. But I believe right now, part of the analytics here, you do have some capability. Yeah, I need to publish it actually. I don't know if I have this is like a Salesforce agent I have here. But I have a published agent. Yeah, I actually published it. So here you actually have it's a new feature. You can export out your responses that you have. I think it's on the right hand side. Yeah, download sessions. And I can filter it by the time or so, and I can basically download. Yeah, basically. It just you can actually now they actually have an Excel file here. Yeah, hope that answered your question. But we can send more information regarding this. This is I know we're over time, but this is an agent that connects to Salesforce using the Salesforce connectors to grab information and also to write data back to it.
One more question, we have added the knowledge sources, like the website URLs as a resource. So what's going to happen if the resource is not available, like the page is not available, it's down. So the agent will index before when we are creating it or on the fly?
So yeah, public sites will only index up to 2 levels, and it only indexes the raw text, the HTML text here. It wouldn't do anything much more crazier. So if the answers it's not able to find an answer, which means it's not there, you'll probably have to, for better performance, tweak in the instruction. If you're not able to, just politely decline with the answer or so. But yeah, I don't really rely on public connectors. That's more for personal use, like for like a very ready based use. I don't think it's very like you have no control over it. So have your own content indexed in Azure or use Azure as search or have proper trained data, then you'll be able to give much more better answers here. So
That's definitely one of the features for on the Azure side. You can make it very deterministic. When I say deterministic, that means maybe I feel like answering this, right? Deterministic, like this is the answer. Shut up, that's the answer. And sometimes people will ask for that. Well, how come it gave me a different result next time I ask? It's like, well, you want deterministic? How much money you got? Yes, because now we got to do it in Azure, right? But you're asking the wrong thing. This is Gen AI. You're going to get a how I feel today answer, right? If you want it to be exact. What happened to good old search on SharePoint? That worked, right? Yeah, I was using that. That worked. So he told you not to use it. Well, I want to use an AI. Well, then you got to pay. Otherwise, they already built it for you. It's called search SharePoint. Done. All right. How are we doing?
All right, I think we're over time today. You want one more example here? Is this using a concept of connectors? So if you see here, I asked who my manager is. It automatically is calling these connectors that I've added as tools, gets my profile ID, my UPN, my Microsoft ID, pass it on, it gets my manager. And this is basically pulling information from Entra. Now, if I do here, can you show me available times for tomorrow with my manager? And then when I do this, it's gonna call another connector. It's just me simply throwing in my broken English and language,
They
right?
don't care about your misspelling.
Yeah, doesn't spell. And then it call the Outlook connector to find you this times.
Cool.
Can you set a meeting for, let's say 8:00 to 18? I think it's in a different calendar, let's say, for performance review, right? I'm just gonna type this in. All right, and it says, okay, connector action. So CJ required attendee. It's automatically fetching my manager's ID.
You got a notice.
Yeah, I got a notice here, right? Meeting's been set, your message to logo. And if I go back to my calendar, there you go. Performance review, Daniel is already set up the meeting and see my manager has been responded.
Just taking spam to a new level.
Yeah, basically a couple of clicks. I can just do it in a single prompt too, but there's a good use case too. If you have it for onboarding, for encouraging new hires, to set up a meeting with a manager. Okay.
Yeah, that's sort of funny a little bit, but it's not kidding. You might have seen the latest spam where it sends you an ICS file and says, hey, here's the meeting you asked for. And then you're like, whoa, and you remember when mommy said, do not click links. Right? But now that power, wow, it's AI, clearly.
So the concept of AI really comes in, the connectors are already there. You just tell AI to like, hey, take this bat and hit the ball, and it actually does it, right? So that's kind of,
All right.
thank you.
Very good. Hey, So one last thing over here, everyone got their 2 cards. All right, does anyone know how to play blackjack? Or does not know how to play blackjack? Okay, blackjack is, you've got a total of 21 is the concept. Because this is brought from Vegas. I had, whose prompt this is anyway, where what happened there stayed in Vegas, so that's Vegas. So I'm gonna bring something from Vegas, blackjack. If you have, you'll have a number, so an easy number is a number, so 2, 3, or 4 is what they are. If you get like a face card, like a jack, queen, or king, that's 10 points. If you get an ace, it's 1 or 11 points. So a blackjack is like 10 points, a jack, and an ace, which is 11, which is, yes, 21. So the idea is 21. So we want to get as close to 21 as possible. I'm going to ask you, do you want another card? Because maybe you have enough. Maybe you have 18. I'm okay. I'll stay. But if you go over, you're out. Want a card? Well, as many until you get to your points. Oh, okay. All right, here we go. You're at 7. Where are you at?
Yeah, one more.
You're at 8. You're at 13. You're at 15. One more card. Oh,
There you go.
you busted. All right. Next one. Who wants a card? You want a card? Okay. Here you go. Card for you. Oh, you're holding? Okay. Anyone want another card? Who wants a card? Okay, pick a, oh, and I'll let you pick a card this time. Okay. Yeah. Want another card? No? Okay. Hold on. Gotta pick a card. You're gonna hold it? Or are you over? You got another card? Okay, good. She's going for it. She feels lucky. And here we go. One more?
Wait.
Well, so if you get 5 cards, the winner. If you have the cards 6 and 7, you win automatically. Anybody got that? Just kidding. But yes, what he wants. Any card. There we go. Okay. Another card? Or you're over? Okay, busted. Card. All right, we're gonna figure out who got close. Okay, whoever's busted, just open your cards and put them in front of you. Whoever's still in the game, keep your cards down. Another card? Ooh, he's going for it. 5 cards.
I'm good.
Good. Okay. Anybody still want a card? You're taking card? So go. Okay. Are you good? Okay. Another card? Okay. You're good? Okay. Oh. You're out? Okay, so if you're out, open all your cards and put them on the side. All right, so if you're out, whoever's out, just so show all the cards and then we're done. The folks that are in, I'd like you to give me your number, your total. What is your total? 20, you got 21. Okay, so we have 21. You got, she's got a blackjack. Okay, 21 also. And you got? You got 20? Okay, so far we have 2 21s, 2 winners. And you are, you're over? You have 19, okay, 19. And you're over? 19. And you're, I think you went over.
Yep.
Yep, and you are? 19? Okay, we have 2 winners. How did I predict 2 winners? Because the 2 winners, you get the only, you get your own set of cards. Everyone, please pass your cards over to the front. These are the Copilot cards you get to go to and impress your friends like, oh, I know how to prompt. Have you tried?
Do we have a price if we get the same card with the same prompts?
The same prompt. Yeah, you got the same number with the same prompt. Come on, Microsoft. All right, let's go get those cards back. Thank you very much for playing.